everyone?
Welcome to another episode of
Two Straws.
Oh man, I feel like we're really far away.
I feel like we're a little bit far away too.
We're a little further than normal. Hold on, we gotta.
I don't know if you want to do this right now. This is.
Wait, no, I got it. Okay,
Just move the chair.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that
much
makes
easier.
sense. Hey, there you are. I was like around the bend, and now I'm
so far.
right here. Yes. I gotta make you watch Color Purple. Haven't done that to you yet.
No?
Color Purple? Have you
I've
ever
never
seen it?
No, I haven't. Why do I need to watch it?
There's this scene that me and my friends always reenact when we're like feeling really far away from each other. We go, that's like the thing that
cute.
the two sisters would do, or they weren't. Were they sisters? But the two best friends would do whenever they felt far away, and then one has to leave the house. It's a really sad scene, and the whole time she's like, "Me and you, us never part."
Oh, it's so cute.
You would cry the entire
I'm about
movie.
to cry right now.
You need to watch it like right after. Have you seen Cocaine Bear yet?
No.
Okay, you need to watch Color Purple and then cleanse your emotional palate with Cocaine Bear because it's literally just a stupid movie. But yes. All right. Anyway, MMA, right?
Holy shit.
So
we
much
had a
MMA.
weekend.
Oh
We
my
had a
God.
weekend.
A couple weekends.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple weekends, but I feel like on Saturday was just it was an intense thing with Bellator and the UFC.
Yeah, lots of great Bellator fights. Like that kind of put it over the top. Last weekend it was mostly just UFC stuff happening, but like a really controversial main event. A lot of like people making a big deal out of UFC Noche is going to be like a recurring thing now. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, yesterday had so many finishes, so many brutal finishes, and let's talk about it. What do you want to start with?
And some what the fuck moments.
Yes.
You know I love those.
Yeah. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
WTF.
What the fuck? I think the first thing we should mention is just like how heartbreaking it was to see that main event in that way in UFC.
Man.
Yeah.
It's hard because you work so hard and you get there and you have these like high expectations and you know on what you're going to perform and all this visualization, and then for someone to lose in that way due to an injury that wasn't,
It was self-inflicted.
It was self-inflicted. And it's just weird. I still haven't heard exactly what happened, but we think it was a knee. It could have been, ACLs are fickle these days, so it could have been an ACL on the way out, and as he threw the kick, it just gave out.
Yeah, I think it was definitely something that had built up from before the fight, like way before the fight. But all those scrambles, all that crazy movement, that's an easy way to just give your ACL that final last, like if it's holding on by a string, it's like, ugh. That's it. I have nothing left to hold on to, and that's what happened. In my fight versus Virna, I don't have any idea how it happened, but she tore her ACL, and I'm like, yeah, totally intentional. I meant to do that, but that's what you get for trying to wrestle me. You got that hip bone on your knee.
Well, a weird thing happened on The Ultimate Fighter when I was drilling with Justine. And I tore her ACL doing a warm-up sweep. It was, I was down on the ground. She was standing. I did a little push-pull. I'm a very gentle training partner. Yeah. And
very bendy and flexible. Oof.
Completely snapped.
Oof.
And it was on her way out, but I was heartbroken for her. You go all that way and you have all of these emotions, this like expectation to perform, and there's just a lot riding on it, a lot of emotions attached to it, and to not be able to do what you came there to do, it's heartbreaking.
And a little context for the Justine thing, she was running every day in sweats, like in sauna suits. She was on the bike when she wasn't at the gym, the Ultimate Fighter gym training. So she was putting a lot of stress on her knees. And like that's what we do in fight camp. We put a lot of stress on our ligaments, on our knees. We have a monster weight cut. We rehydrate and we have 24 hours to get those ligaments back back to being flexible and pliable again. So even though it's a freak injury, it's not surprising. You know what I mean? Like poor Tom Aspinall. He had to wait so long in a fight where a lot of people were expecting him to be it. It was his like come out fight. I think he was fighting Curtis Blades, and he stepped back after throwing a kick or something, or just stepped funny, and his knee exploded. And it took him a whole year to get back, and now he hasn't dropped a step. So I feel like hopeful for Fiziev. He's not like old. He's not young. He's not old. he's not like Glover. You know, like if Glover destroys his shoulder or his ACL or something, you're like. Bye.
Nice little segue to retirement.
Yeah, you're a great coach. Like you're an awesome, you know, like that.
Keep doing that.
Yeah, you're so good at coaching.
At least he has something to fall back on.
Yeah, but because he's still young, he still has a lot of momentum. I feel like he's gonna come back stronger afterwards.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Because that had all of the makings for a really exciting fight, and the way it started was incredible. So you know, it's the same kind of heartbreak that Calvin Kattar experienced with one of his main event fights in the Apex.
Yeah, which one was that?
He did like a jump knee, or he did some sort of jumping movement, and when he landed, his knee gave out.
Yeah, it's so crazy how that happens. And like poor Calvin Kattar, I feel like he's had the worst luck with matchups, with opportunities, with just like freak injuries. He's always been right there at the top. Could be anyone at the top, but then some bullshit happens. Yeah. So gotta feel the frustration for athletes who just keep getting that unfortunate thing to happen to them and not being able to fight the fight that they want. Because it's always, even if after a loss, if you know that you did the best that you could, or you know that you went out there and just performed as much as you can, then it makes the loss a lot easier to take. And I hate when, even though I guess it's fair, I hate when a freak injury ends as a TKO. Like the result is TKO for Gamrot.
That's just so frustrating.
It's not
like
fair.
Do you remember Conor McGregor sitting there on the octagon floor screaming, "Make sure it's not a TKO." Just going off, and it's fair. I mean, I totally get it, and I love that he that's where his mind went immediately.
Dude, he's trying to protect his brand.
Yes, no, but I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I'd be able to think like that in that moment, but
with half a leg.
Yes.
My foot is twisted the other way, but that wasn't a TKO. Make sure they say my foot was twisted the other way. Needs to be like an asterisk there. So that was really heartbreaking. But the co-main event.
Holy crap. We had Thug Nasty, Mr. Bryce Mitchell against 50K Dan Ige. And that was a fight.
I feel like I need to put all his takedowns on just like a playlist, like a highlight, so I can just ingrain it into my head, because the way that he goes for stuff is just so unique. Like he'll go for something, start to lose it, and then jump for something else, and he just has this great flow when he grapples.
He's like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
Like he goes for it. He knows what he wants. He's very intentional with it. It's really impressive how he comes up with these takedowns, kind of seemingly like they're not out of nowhere, but you just don't think that he's potentially going to get them. And he always gets to the ground. He always gets good position. It's really impressive how he does it.
It is. But the one thing that kind of bugged me, and I know why already, but there are multiple things. There are multiple things, but we're still talking about the fight.
Oh, okay.
The one thing that bugged me was I think a couple judges gave 30-27 to Bryce. And
I didn't agree with that.
Yeah, and I felt like the last round was his strongest, so that was definitely his. I thought it was like maybe 1 and 3 went to Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
But I felt like they didn't take into account the amount of damage that happened in the beginning of the round.
Yeah.
Because it was very much just like a split down the middle fight. In one round, Bryce took him down with 2 minutes left, and then he was just on him the entire round. But those other 3 minutes that they were on the feet, Ige was piecing him up. He was landing good strikes. He had amazing boxing. He closed his eye up, and it feels like that wasn't represented in the scorecards.
I have to agree with you. It was kind of I would have given Bryce the first round, definitely down the second round. So when it came down to the third, I didn't know which way the judges were going to go because we're still unsure about the criteria of the judges. So Dan did more on the feet. He landed great shots. And then Bryce had the end of the third round, which left the impression to the judges, but he didn't do damage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy control. He made it a really tough night for Dan, and hats off to Dan with his, getting back up when he could and staying safe when he was in vulnerable position while Bryce had control. But it was challenging because you can kind of see how the judges could have gone the other way had they, It's just still really unclear what exactly the judges are looking for. And I'm not mad at the decision. I thought it was fair, but I also had an argument for it to go the other way.
Yeah.
If that had gone the other way.
No, for sure. I felt like Ige's just aggression. I felt like the placement was the reason why it was so heavily on Mitchell's side, but I don't think that should be the case. Like, we always talk about finishing the round strong, and that's more so knowing how the judges are going to sway. If you finish the last minute of the fight strong, the last 30 seconds of a fight, and you're getting your ass kicked the entire round, you might win that round. But should that be the case? And it's a tough one because every time they restarted, Ige was winning again. He was on top. He was not on top, but just landing the better strikes, landing the better combinations. And then Bryce, as soon as they hit the halfway mark, he would start getting his takedowns going and just control. And yeah, like I do think it was a really even fight. Didn't know which way it was gonna go, but it always makes me wonder when I see a scorecard like that, how fair that was for the other fighter.
Yeah.
I guess you could say he won via lay and pray.
Oh, very, very fitting. I'm gonna have to write that one down.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna edit that one in.
How funny was Michael Bisping when he said, "We're gonna let Dan pray for America real quick"?
Oh, Bryce.
Yeah. No, Bryce said that to Michael Bisping. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just
that whole speech.
No, I knew you would have something to say about that.
It was so, oh my goodness.
You know what? I've got to say, listen, I love and appreciate what he was trying to do with, paying, don't give me that look. Paying,
no, I
offering to give a check. Thanks, Bubbers. Glad he didn't take the set with him.
God was looking over our set just now. Butcher tried to take it down.
Listen, sometimes it's the execution that just, makes you like hold your breath a little bit. But he had a nice, gift for Ige in that he was going to donate to the cause for Maui. And then he, went on to one of his conspiracy theory tangents. And, Dan is also a very, kind, gracious man. So he allowed Bryce this platform. I thought it could have been, I saw it as a nice moment.
It was really nice because it was Dan Ige. He had so much poise in that moment. He prayed with him. He treated him like a member of his church. Like he felt for Bryce Mitchell in that moment. But with all the drama that's been going on circling him with him and his ex-girl, he was breaking through windows trying to get his dog back, sicking the public on this girl who, I mean, that's one thing I wanted to address. It's really unfortunate when someone with a following attacks someone with zero public presence. They're not a celebrity.
It's dangerous.
It's really dangerous because you don't know the full story. You don't know what was going on with those two. And it does seem like Bryce Mitchell is just on one. Like he's deep into conspiracy theories. He's just very emotional. It seems like he needs to be talking to people, like talking to some professional help. And we always talk about mental health when it's too late. and you're definitely seeing the signs with Bryce Mitchell. I have a brother who's schizophrenic, and it really is scary to see someone in a public space just giving all these signs of that he's deteriorating mentally, and it doesn't seem like he's gonna have people get the help that he needs. And we've seen that with a lot of fighters that we love. We've seen it with Diego Sanchez. We've seen it with the American Psycho. We have a bully beatdown guy. We have Jason Miller. We have a lot of people that we hold dear to our hearts that, you see them start to go crazy and you're just like, oh, they're just being themselves, and he was a character already, but now it's starting to get a little dangerous. So I feel like that moment after the fight was kind of a red flag. Like, somebody needs to sit down with Bryce and just, let him figure some stuff out, because I don't know. What did it look like to you? Because I kind of have different. Well,
yeah, you have your experiences,
perspective on it. So absolutely. I'm gonna project a little bit here, but yeah, I don't know. It just seemed a little too raw and too emotional to not be saying that something else is going on with him.
It's hard. I'm not a doctor. I can't I can't diagnose someone, but I understand your feelings and your concern and the amount of care that you put into those kind of displays that you see. I don't know that to be true about him, where he's at, but I know he's a very passionate, very sensitive human, and he has very strong beliefs and convictions. And I think that my biggest concern or red flag would be just how he's using his platform. Because again, I don't know anything about him. I've never spoken to him or anything like that. But what I see projecting can be dangerous, because somebody with that kind of following, that kind of influence, we talk about stuff with like Sean O'Malley. We talk about stuff like that. Like, you have to be careful. You have a sense of responsibility when you have a platform as big as they do. And I think that.
But he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Well, and I mean, most, I don't think he's doing it maliciously. He's very passionate. He has very strong convictions and beliefs, but it's a challenge when you have that big of a following and you can sway people into supporting you. That's where it gets dangerous for me. I don't know the state of his mental health, so I can't comment on it, but it does concern me with how he's using his platform. Yeah. And I don't know what exactly can be done about that from me or from other people, but I would hope the people around him could talk some sense into him. Just have a conversation, because it gets dangerous. I wonder what happened to that girl's tattoo shop. I wonder what happened. Yeah. It's a small town and people get very riled up and very passionate about the people in their community.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to his dog. That dog was freaked out, Yeah,
I think that video was actually a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's it's just really scary to me to see someone going down this path and everyone just laughs. And it is funny. Like, I laughed, but I do feel like the people who are closest to him, I'm hoping that they're keeping an eye on him and making sure if he needs someone to talk to, if he needs to reach out and does need to get some help eventually, like he has the resources to do it, because the mental part is the last thing that fighters focus on. We feel like we're so tough and that we're so mentally strong already that we don't need to talk to people. We don't need psychiatric help. And I think a lot of times that could have saved a lot of people from going down a dark path. And that's like from the people that I've met in the industry who have gone down that road and things happen badly. It always starts with just a ton of conspiracy theories and thinking everyone's out to get you and feeling like you have nowhere to turn, and then something bad happens. And so I'm hoping that doesn't happen with him. But that was quite a scene. Like, it was a big scene, so much that Bisping was like, nah, we're done. He had to get out of there, because it's that's not what the UFC is trying to keep a professional space, and that was not the platform for him to do it on.
For that. That's, post-fight press conference.
Yeah.
Post-fight interviews. It's hard to do. And I mean, it's really hard to gather your thoughts and, speak very, very clearly when you're in such a heightened emotional state, especially after a fight. I mean, you've just been through it in the octagon, and then they want you to speak clearly, concisely, and like make your point. It's really hard. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of going on. It's a challenging place to interview a fighter. And I know everybody wants that like emotional reaction shot, but it may not be the best for the fighter.
Well, I think he still sounded like he does before fights. I don't think it's much different. It's just, this is for everyone to see. Anyone who didn't dig, anyone who didn't watch the interviews, now you're seeing what this guy's about. And it's becoming just like kind of, it's just gone down. It went from like kind of a fun, like, oh, look at this guy, he's this fun character, to, ooh, like, the devils are everywhere, and they started the fires, and these are things that people who have mental illnesses say, like, I'm not saying that he's mentally ill, but I'm saying like these are red flags that, I don't know, needs to be addressed. We might cut this. I don't know. But it's a little scary to me, and I'm just speaking from experience. So hopefully he's fine. His ex-girl is fine. His dog's fine. Dan Ige did a great job just being there and being a good Christian, I felt like, in that moment. And hopefully Bryce is able to go on and chill out a bit.
Well, I mean, another fight on the card that raised some flags and concern was the fight before that, which was Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson.
Ooh.
And the consensus was that it was stopped late.
Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez put on a showcase. She put on a clinic of knees and elbows and clinch. I think you would appreciate it. Give it the nod with your background. Yes. It was a beautiful display. I think it could have potentially been stopped, but also you could argue that, like, okay, he gave her every single chance and then, stopped it at a good point.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people have a conversation with the ref and say, hey, I don't care what happens. If I start fighting back when you tell me to fight back, don't stop the fight.
Yeah.
And she was fighting back every time she got hurt. So I think that's why it took so long for the referee to finally jump in, because every time it looked like she was about to crumble from strikes, she would shoot, and it would be a good shot. It'd almost get Rodriguez down. She'd clinch up. She'd do something, try to throw a hook or something to show that she was still in the fight. So I think a lot of times when that conversation is had and the fighter gives you just enough to keep it going, then you're like, all right, this is what they want. And I do think a lot of times when you see a girl who's bloodied up, people get emotional about that. But I think the main thing I was looking at was her body language. And every time she'd get hit with that knee to the guts and like kind of crumble, I'm like, ooh, they should stop it. But then she'd come back. So I'm not going to say I wasn't mad that it kept going. But it was an amazing performance by Rodriguez. Michelle's going to get credit for her toughness because she stuck in there for as long as she possibly could. But yeah, it was a really great display of Muay Thai. And I like what her people said, or what she said at the end, where she was like, we wanted to get back to our roots and get back to like that violent side. And that's where the elbows and knees are there. And it's something I've been trying to do too, So being able to see that on display, especially against someone that I fought, someone who I feel like if I was just a little more violent, I could have had a similar performance, then that'd be great. But, I'm not mad at Michelle Waterson. I think she put on a super tough performance, and she stuck in there as long as she could. But I will have this moment to thank her mother for keeping me from getting submitted in my fight against Darren, because she messaged me before my fight against Darren and said, "Did I tell you this?"
No.
So thank you, Grandma Waterson, for messaging me and telling me that the UFC wants to cut me. So that's why they gave me Darren, and she's going to submit me and I'm going to get cut. So when I was stuck deep in that armbar, I saw her face.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, no, it's not going to happen.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so just putting it out there. Maybe I'll be able to get that rematch after my fight, after Waterson heals up. We'll see what's next for her. But that's like her last win was me. So she's what?
Lost 4 in a row.
4 in a row. She's like I think 6-1 or 1-6 in her last 7. So yeah, we'll see what happens with her. She's still ranked though, so it's always weird when you have someone who's on a lose streak that's ranked in the top 15. So I don't know. What do you think's going to go down?
I mean, I think she's a fan favorite. I don't think she'll get cut. I think that she'll have a place as long as she wants to. She's one of those kind of fixtures in the division. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. I mean, you know, she's, 37, 38?
Yeah, I think 37.
Yeah, I mean, she may be on a skid, but she's still improving. I've still seen, new wrinkles to her game. It looks like she still wants to be in there. So, hopefully she'll just keep doing it for as long as she wants to and on her terms instead of, people telling her that she needs to retire, which is something that it's none of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss Waterson. Your mom, not you.
No, I mean, I hope she heals up and, I think she's in a place where she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
If she wants to keep fight. If she doesn't, don't.
That's a rematch you wanted too, right? I always forget that you guys fought in Invicta.
So what I've always wanted is for the UFC to have 105 division. I want to be one of the tough coaches to introduce the division.
Oh, wow.
And on the other side of it, so we get our rematch at 105.
Oh.
That's always been my dream. That's what I've been manifesting. Don't know what's going to happen, but it's always been a dream of mine.
I mean, have you pitched it?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay.
They thought it sounded super cool. But
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You should remind them.
Yes, I will. Yeah. Just one of my dreams.
Yeah. Dreams can be realities.
Another cool thing that happened on this card was we had Christopher Lieben make his judging debut with the UFC. Yeah. He's been on the local circuit. He's been judging a lot of, California fights, and he finally made it to the big show. The first fight of the night, he got a lot of grief for the way he scored it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
what did he
immediately people came out. So it was Vidal and what's her name? Rendon. Monstre Rendon.
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
So they were UFC Espanol was pushing her a lot because she's a native, and she their fight was kind of even. They were kind of throwing the same things. I think Rendon was kind of coming out ahead at the end of each round. So, I mean, I could have seen him giving it to her as they did. But Lieben gave 2 rounds to Vidal, and people were just up in arms about it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was a pretty even fight. It was well matched for the level that those girls are, because they are a little bit greener.
Yeah.
And they're in bantamweight, so I know that they're trying to, feed that division. But it was just, it was exciting that, a former fighter like Lieben was going to come in and be a judge, and he was not received very well initially.
That's kind of what happens sometimes, though. You try to score according to what you read. You might be scoring better than the people who've been doing it for a long time because you're the new person. You're trying to follow the rules. And then everyone else scores the way everyone usually scores. Yeah. So you kind of have to get in there and just feel out the process. And eventually people will forget. You know, people are only mad for a second. And I mean, it was the first fight of the night, so they forgot. I'm sure they forgot about it, but not before a bunch of angry tweets went out. Oh, for sure. The tweets, they're nobodies. They're half of them are bots. It doesn't matter. Remember, I think, I'm not sure if it was his first time, but I remember when Tony Weeks, that boxing referee, he scored a fight at the Apex for, I feel like it was the first time he scored MMA, and people got really upset because he was the one judge who gave one guy a 30-27 and other judges gave the other guy 29-28 or something like that, and people were really upset about that. But as I was watching the fight, because I was there live, I was like, yo, like, I'm sitting right behind him, and it kind of looks like homeboy is winning every round. But, you know, it was a really close fight. And because of the angles, because of the circumstances, the other fighter was more popular, the one who he scored against, then you can get more heat for a score that might have been kind of fair. You're just not in it. You're just not, I guess, as used to it or as these other guys, so you're gonna get a little shit because you're the new guy. Mm-hmm. So I think eventually he'll find his niche and people will respect his score. And he was the one judge that scored for Wilson.
He was the one judge I wasn't yelling at on the way out.
The one judge who got it right.
I was like, who? No,
at Cage Warriors.
I'm not mad at you, but no. You.
You're my guy.
On you.
You're my guy. So I think the more you do it, the less people are looking for you to mess up. It's kind of like with how we were talking about Laura Senko. She is a woman, so there's that beaker on her where you're waiting for her to slip up. You're waiting for her to say something or get overly emotional or something like that just because she's new. We've never seen this before. And the same thing happens when you have someone like Chris Lieben, who's a fighter, who is, you know, one of the first big names to do this kind of step and change their career path into judging. So you're going to look at him a little harder than you're looking at somebody else.
Absolutely. I'm happy he's there.
Yeah.
Good job. I think it's awesome. I want to see more fighters post-career get involved with the commissions, with the judges. I want them all to take over.
Yeah. There's always that worry of biases though, right? When you're looking at that.
But I mean, that's everywhere. I mean, we're all human, no matter if you were a former fighter, if you were a coach, if you were this, if that, like whatever it is, like we're all human and we all have a certain like range for error and an emotion attached to decisions, you know? It is what it is.
It is what it is. And I prefer a biased judge to know what they're looking at than to not know what they're looking at. Because at least then they know when they can screw me, when they can't. But kudos to Chris Lieben. Did not see that. Did not see any of that. Any of the fights that you've scored. You've been very professional, very good with your scoring. So good job. Oh man. Anything else happen on last night's card that you want to discuss?
No. I think we can move on.
Okay. One thing I do want to say is
never mind.
Bryan Battle is adorable. Did you see his fight?
Yes, I did.
Did you see his post-fight presser?
Yeah, it cringed.
He said, yeah, I mean.
Like so every other word. I was like, stop it.
It is adorable. It's like,
where's your manager? Stop it.
Well, this is because you're from the West Coast. Okay, Bryan Battle is very much an East Coast boy. He is.
I just remember Biz being just kind of like.
I loved how Bisping responded, though. He's like, I do know what you mean. Yes, I do know what you mean. But I thought that was adorable. Look, I'm from Maryland. Like, everyone talks like that there. So, and especially when you have the camera on you, you get a little nervous. Maybe you're hyped from the fight.
It's like your or your like.
Yeah. I mean, that's our
I've never heard you say that before.
Because I'm whitewashed by you people out here.
By me people?
Mostly Adam. But I say like that. Well, yeah, I say like now and everything because
I've never heard
I'm
you
over
say
here.
Nah, man.
Yeah, because you met me on the West Coast.
Yeah, but that was like, oh shit. Oh, I'm out.
Oh no! What are you doing? Quit touching the mic.
Stop it! Stop it! Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. No, but I met you fresh. From when you came to the East Coast, and I did not experience any of that.
It's also kind of country. It's kind of country. So because I lived in New York for so long, I had to get rid of that.
You're not country.
No, I'm saying it's black people aren't on horses in the country.
Your mama is.
Yeah, that was after I went to college.
Whatever.
Because she had space. now that all these fucking kids are out of my house, yeah, I can go get a bigger house with space.
I love your mom.
Yeah, but no, it's like more of a Southern thing. So Maryland's right on the Mason-Dixie line, and
the Mason-Dixie.
Yeah,
Mason-Dixon.
Yeah, that one. Same thing. It's Mason-Dixie on the East Coast. Is
it?
I don't know. I'm just saying the wrong thing. But yeah, Maryland's right on that line. So anything above that, you have to start like toning down your twang.
Anything above the Mason-Dixie line.
Yes. I wish I was in Dixie.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Anyway, this has been a history lesson.
A geography lesson.
And a cultural lesson.
You're welcome.
Ugh. Anyway, yeah, Brian Battle is
and he made his 170
adorable.
Debut.
That was his debut there?
Lean and mean.
Okay. He was fighting at 185?
Well, that's what he won the Ultimate Fighter at.
Oh, okay.
Right?
And dude, he's just been like knocking people out. So I was really surprised that he got a submission today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. Yeah, he's pretty impressive. I think he's going to be someone to look out for in the future.
I mean, you hope that that's what the Ultimate Fighter is, putting out there.
Yeah, but a lot of times they have these kind of floppy seasons where it's just to fill the need for an Ultimate Fighter that year, and so a lot of those guys end up getting cut or never really busting onto the scene. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Good job.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so
I think we need to talk about UFC Noche.
We do, but should we talk about Bellator first?
Oh,
or we could save it for download content.
We're almost there.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about Noche.
How did you score the main event?
I thought Grasso won, but I didn't score it the way Mike Bell did.
Nobody did. Had he not scored it that way, had it just been a 10-9, Shevchenko would have won.
Yeah. So that's the crazy part. But I don't know.
I thought it could have been a draw. I thought that each opportunity to capitalize, both of them did it. They did it well. They made it a really back and forth battle, and I thought it was really hard to pick a winner.
I think there needs to be more draw rounds because of that.
Yes.
Because if you look at something like a Verdict MMA, they do these online polls, and people are acting like they're judges, and they score 10-9, 10-8, or whatever for each round. There were a few rounds that were split right down the middle. And if judges would acknowledge that and just go, okay, this is a 9-9 round.
It's okay.
Or 10-10 round. Whatever it is that would be a draw round. I feel like that would be way better than just flipping a coin and picking a winner. Whoever, I don't know, floats your boat. And that's where the biases come in. That's where it might be weird to have like an old coach or an old fighter on a scorecard. That's a really big deal because they might have trained with them in the past, or they know somebody who is really good friends with them. But I mean, it happens in the judging world too. That's why Douglas Crosby is no longer with us. may he rest in peace. No, he's alive, but he's just not doing UFC anymore. Not for now, at least. But there's those inherent biases. So when it is really, really close and you can't tell which one it is, you just pick the person you like. And I feel like that's where I picked Grasso, because I'm like, I liked those knees. I liked what she was doing in the striking department. I'm going to pick Grasso for round 4, and somebody else might have seen what Shevchenko was doing well in round 4 and pick that instead. So I feel like it should be okay to make a round a draw round, because it's literally like they were both doing things really well, and I can't see who was the better aggressor in that round.
I think that there should be draw rounds. I did inch it to Shevchenko, although the 5th round was really questionable because she went for that head and arm throw. Grasso slipped out the back, and then she put herself into a really tough position. She ended up coming on top towards the end of it, but again, with the control time versus her striking, it was just so hard to make a decision. So I thought that was the round that could have potentially lost it for her. I do agree that there needs to be more draws. I'd be happy to see people get draws instead of losses on their record when, they could have potentially won. It does so much to people's bank account, to their fight career path. It just does so much damage, and I feel like that would be a great way to mediate it.
Yeah, look at Rodriguez. She has like 1 or 2 draws on her record. I feel like that would have really hurt her case to be up in the top 5 if they ended up being losses, just because someone saw something that they liked better from the girls that she was fighting, and they were kind of weird draws. Like I thought she lost them.
Maybe they were in Brazil. Maybe it was her hometown. We don't know. Again, it's the bias. It's
honestly, I think it was just fair. And I think I'm not used to seeing a fair score be made. But those draws, I was like, you know what? I think it's fair. I didn't expect it, but it's fair. So I think that needs to happen more often. Just because, like you said, it's better for the fighters. There's no point of coin flipping and picking a winner when no one did enough to really win. So I really encourage that, and I think that would have taken a lot away, or that would have made a lot less people angry with this fight, where a lot of people were just split down the middle, like they didn't know who won, including Grasso fans, including Shevchenko fans. Like everyone was just like, we don't know. We're just gonna cheer if they win because we don't know.
I mean, either way, it was an amazing fight. Probably like my favorite title fight of the year.
Yeah, and I love just Grasso coming in as the underdog and putting Valentina in all these horrible positions, like dropping her. Who drops Valentina Shevchenko? Like Grasso was really doing a lot to brandish Shevchenko's brand of just like being unstoppable, being this Terminator, because Grasso has made her look human in both fights. And I love that, because every time she goes in there, she's a huge underdog, and she still is able to pull it off.
Well, we're going to get to see it a third time.
Yeah.
Because there is an immediate rematch after Shevchenko's hand heals. Okay. She does need surgery. She broke her hand in the fight. So after she's on the mend, that's the only fight that really makes sense. Like it has to happen. We cannot go on in the division until we settle this.
Yeah, this is the most compelling fight, especially now that Erin Blanchfield has taken out Talia Santos. So that fight was pretty epic, but at the same time, you're not really looking at Talia anymore to fight Shevchenko. You want to see either Erin Blanchfield or Grasso in this third fight. And
I feel for Erin because she's going to have to wait, because I need to see the third one go.
Sorry, Erin.
Sorry, girl.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll get
young.
there.
She's so young. She's like, what, 22 or something?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck you. No. You got like 50 years to wait.
I know.
You'll be okay. Imagine if she retires at Glover's age.
Stop.
Dude, like what? How old is he? 45?
42.
42? Imagine if she retires at 42. She still has 20 years of a fight career left.
So I've been thinking about this. I've been in the sport for 17 years.
Ooh.
And I have under 30 fights.
Wow.
Because I started in the dark days of women's MMA.
I mean, this
is and in a weight class that really did not exist unless you were in Japan.
You fought in a bunch of different weight classes, right?
Well, there was really nothing for 105. So we'd do like 110, 115, 112. Like we would always do kind of like catch weights and stuff like that. But 105 just wasn't a thing in the States. It was really popular in Japan, and I wasn't going there yet. Which, I eventually fought in Japan, but again, it was at a time when, I would only fight maybe once a year or, get 2 fights and then be off for another amount of time. Like there just was not that many opportunities. There weren't that many fighters. It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't what it is now. So that'd be really cool. I mean, you fight, 3 times a year and then you're in the sport for how many years? And crazy.
She's going to have like 90 fights by the time she retires. If she stays healthy. That's the scary part, because when you're an athlete, you kind of started late like me. So when you're an athlete from when you drop out of the womb, then you can accumulate a lot more injuries than when you start a little later, like mid-20s or something like that. So hopefully she'll be all right. I mean, I think Glover was doing it out the womb.
No, he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
he's been doing it since before I was doing it.
Yeah. So she can have a long career ahead of her if she wants it.
So what do you think that the last fight with Marina Rodriguez's fight, what do you think that does for the strawweight division? Because we do have Zhang Yang, say her name for me. So we have her on deck.
That was the Maryland way to say it.
No, Maine.
Maybe that's why I like saying it.
So we have her, and then we have her potentially taking on Wiley. And then we also have Suarez, who makes less of a compelling case at this point. But then now we have Rodriguez with that performance. So you could argue both of them are next. Yeah. If they haven't already had the fight with if that's not already in the works and, get that ink on paper.
Yeah.
It really does make the top of the division really exciting.
Well, I like that she called out Suarez. I love that. Rodriguez is no bitch. She is not going to run from anyone. She's not afraid from anyone. And I think she knows that she has to prove something in order to get that title shot. So I like that move from her. I think, if anything, being called out is going to be a little unnerving for a fighter like Tatiana Suarez, who's probably turned down more than anything. And I think that's a great move. I love that fight. I feel like if she can avoid the takedown, it's going to be a really tough night for Tatiana. And it's going to be a big test for her to see if she can deal with someone with that kind of striking. Rodriguez doesn't have the best takedown defense, but she showed great takedown defense in that fight. But she does get taken down. She does get taken down, but she does a really good job of staying safe while she's down there. Yeah, exactly.
And like not giving the grapplers limbs and opportunities. Like she stays safe. She doesn't take as much damage as maybe another fighter would.
Yeah. So I think Suarez would jump at the opportunity just because she has been submitted in the past, or at least taken down and like abused on the ground in the past. But it's a really compelling fight. So I'm excited for that. And I feel like the smartest thing for the UFC to do would be to make that Zhao Nanyan versus Weili fight in Asia, somewhere in China or wherever, and then have those two fight it out for top ranked spot.
On the same card.
Yeah, I think, yes.
Let's call Mick. We need to talk to Mick.
Yeah. And
we got some ideas.
And then people over here will watch it if it's at 2 a.m. because we want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we want to see that.
I'm pumped.
Dreams level fight card. Yeah.
So exciting. Well, on that note, we are going to take a quick break for all of you people that are exclusive content kind of people. We'll see you on the other side.